Hey guys, how-to. Continuing the how-to series. I'm gonna kind of touch on one that really is hard for a lot of people, especially in today's society, and that is how to control one's anger and rage. And is there any control for true rage? Well, I believe there is. Speaking strictly from experience, I've always had, as long as I can remember, a rage problem. And it's not even really a rage problem, it's more just anger management, if you will. When I was in my teens and 20s, oh man, I'd short out and reach out and dope hop somebody just because they were there. And I guess in my 30s I mellowed a little bit. And then in my 40s, and of course now in my early 50s, getting stupid and getting stupid with other people gets expensive and it hurts. The body don't take it like it used to. But even before that, when I was in my 30s, late 20s and early 30s, really working on anger management, working on self, so to speak, I came to the realization that a lot of people try to control their anger by suppressing it, stuffing it down. Well, that's probably the worst mistakes you could ever do. Anger is an emotion much like any other emotion that humans have. It has to have a vent somehow to be able to vent the pressure, if you will. That's like, you take love, for example. If you love someone and you never tell them, you'll eat yourself up over the fact that you never told them, I love you. In the same respect, if something or someone has made you madder than hell and you're trying to stuff that anger, you're going to end up lashing out at someone else or lashing out at something else. Like, case in point, you've really had a hard day at work. People have really given you hell. You're madder than shit when you leave work. You get in your car and you take it out on your car, spin the tires, slam on the brakes, jerk the steering wheel. And if you're lucky enough not to run into some poor slob that just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, you end up costing yourself way more money than it's worth. Tires, upkeep, brakes, yeah, shit's gonna break. So, how do you vent responsibly that anger? And I'm not even talking about rage yet. I'll cover rage in a minute. But how do you vent it? Well, I know from time to time, if I get a hold of an issue at work or an individual at work that has just really pushed me over the edge, either because they're just really rude or hateful or just really being unprofessional, I've been known to put myself in brake, get up, walk away, walk around outside for a minute, and you want to work on your breathing techniques while you're walking. Because if you walk around outside and you jump up and down, you stomp your feet and you scream and holler at a business, well, that's not going to look too professional. So I take my vape and I take a minute and I walk outside. And before I take that first hit of that vape, I take a deep breath in my nose, let it out through my mouth. If the sun is out, I do a moment of sun cleansing. If the sun's not out, then I just ground to Mother Earth. And I think about the reality of, say for example, it was a bad phone call. Well, that person on the other end of that phone is not actually angry with me personally. I just happen to be on the receiving end of their anger, their rage, their frustration, and my job is to diffuse that and take care of it. So if I can remember that, and I can validate that anger and vent that anger through sun cleansing or through grounding, through breathing, allowing myself to calm down, and then go back in, take the next call, I have found most of the time the next call will be much better. But if you just try to stuff it and you try to tuck it way down deep, it's going to explode. And unfortunately, most of the time with most people, it waits until they're either on the road and comes out in the form of road rage, or it waits until they get home and their kids run up to them to give them a hug and they end up biting their head off because they're just at the wrong place at the wrong time, doing what kids do. I've done that in the past, and I really felt bad because of it, and ended up having to apologize to my kids because of it. So how do you let it go? Well, that's different for everyone. It's different for me and you, but at the same time, it's not. If you can learn a control word, and this is a control word I've always used during counseling. It was taught to me many, many years ago by a friend of mine. And that single control word that breaks the rage, it breaks the anger, is stop. I did a video on it once, not too long ago. If you want to look it up, you can. But in a how-to series, a lot of people expect black and white answers. They expect 1, 2, 3 answers. Do this, then that. If this, then that. And a lot of times, that's just not real. That's just not reality. It's not realistic. So let's look at rage. What is rage? Well, rage is generally defined as uncontrollable anger. You'll hear it. You'll hear the phrase "blind rage." A blind rage generally is something that happens when someone has become so angry so fast that they don't have time to control it. They don't have time to breathe, to get it out, to vent it. And if you're in the type of relationship where your mate does not allow you to vent, and I've been in those relationships where, when you try to vent, you just try to let it out, the mate looks at you and like, that's not my problem. Why are you taking it out on me? Well, I'm not. I'm venting to you. I'm just, letting go of some pressure. Well, I don't want to hear it. Okay, fine. whatever, we're done, bye, pack your shit and leave. But that's just me, because I'm always there for my mate to vent to if they need to. So find you a vent. Now, I'm going to close with this because I don't want to get too chatty with this video, because I could for sure. When you're venting to a mate, or you're venting to anyone, if you're angry because of something happening that you're doing that you're refusing to change, venting about it is not going to do any good, because all you're doing is whining about something you're not willing to change anyway. And that's not going to help anyone. That's not going to help anyone at all. So if you're angry at yourself, or you're angry at something that you have done, then you need to look within self and make those changes that need to be made. Because I used to have people come to me all the time, jumping up and down and screaming and hollering, oh my God, they were mad at themselves, they did this and they did that. And my question to them was, when are you going to stop being self-destructive? When you make that change, then the changes will start being made. That being said, remember, breathe, ground, get you some sun cleanse, and remember the trigger word. Remember what that trigger word is. Stop.